What's your song before you became famous? So, I did say have a couple of special guests. Well, actually, there was one who's had to be a special guest, and Michelle is a little bit reticent because she was saying she's a little bit burnt out, which I completely understand. But Matt there, he's on fire. Just before came. So Matt and Michelle, just one of you. What are we about? It's BYSS.
So
BYS, is it?
By your side supports.
Okay. So that could mean a million things, obviously. So what does it mean, BYS?
So BYSS is By Your Side Support. So we're an NDIS registered company that allow people with disabilities under the NDIS or privately to actually get the care that they need, from going to appointments to reconciliating with the community, going out to different community events, socialising more, getting people out of the house and letting them know that they are still loved and welcomed in the community, and obviously getting to the appointments and things like that that they can't actually get to on a day-to-day basis.
So what is, if there is any difference, Matt and Michelle, what is the difference between the service you would provide with NDIS and another NDIS organisation?
So the difference that I find personally with BYSS is the empathy, compassion and love for our clients. It's not just about, oh, we've got your service, so we're just going to run with that. No, it's about showing that empathy, that compassion, that ability to be able to watch our clients thrive. Whereas a lot of companies, they do the same, but in a different manner. You know what I mean? We show the support and love for all communities, not just individualized communities. I support personally the LGBTIQ community, being a gay man myself. I have clients that have mental health issues, that have physical disabilities. Community contact is very limited for some of them. And my job is to get them out in that community and refresh their minds in knowing that the community does still support you, and we do have space for you in the community. You are welcomed, you are loved, and you are accepted, no matter what your disability is. To me, I don't like the word disability as such. I like the word ability with a difference. So it's an ability that might have some sort of, trying to think of the word here, restrictions to it. But to me, there's other abilities you have that I don't have. Do you know what I mean? Like, I notice a lot of my clients, for instance, that might be having mental health issues or physical disabilities. Just because that ability is restricted, their other abilities are absolutely phenomenal, from art to music to some of the most creative people come from the disability background. And that's what people don't realise is we tend to shun some people in some parts of the community, like people still feel judged in that community, but the community need to look at the fact that just because they have something physically or mentally wrong with them doesn't mean they're not human. They still have that creative ability that you're not going to see in someone like myself. I have no creativity.
No, but that's
to a certain extent.
But we also have some very, very amazing participants. We could sit and listen to some of these stories forever. Their stories, the things that they do, the things they've seen, they're amazing. And we've got some that we're like, can we please go and work with that participant next week? Because we want to go see that participant.
Oh, really?
Again, because they're just phenomenal.
And as a carer, you have those boundaries, obviously, your professional boundaries, where you're not supposed to get too attached to your clients. But as a carer, I'm sorry, we're all human as well. And what people need to realise is that carers care. We're in this job because we love helping. We love supporting people that need that support. Not because of the money. It's not because, I need a job. It's because I actually love my job. And I could be paid $2 an hour and I would still do it with no problems at all, because it's about hearing those stories and that inspiration that, hey, you've come from this and you're getting to this. You've got goals that you're kicking, and every time you're kicking that goal, for me as a support worker, the biggest achievement is seeing the smile on my client's face, knowing that they have A, reconnected with the community, or B, kicked a goal that they never thought they would, that everyone doubted that they could kick because of their restriction with their disability, or the doctor said they can't do this. Doctors don't know everything. It's you as a person that knows what you're capable of, and as long as you have that love, support, compassion, and empathy beside you to give you that little nudge to go, you can do this, the world is your oyster. It doesn't matter if you've got schizophrenia to cerebral palsy. The world is your oyster. It's how you perceive your life, not how the community perceive you. It's how you perceive yourself. And with BYSS, our job is to make sure you understand that you have that ability. you have that strength in yourself to keep going. You've made it this far, let's keep going. Let's keep pushing those goals. You know, I have had clients that I've just reconnected back with the LGBTIQ community, something that they haven't done for years. And we just went to Fair Day the other day, actually. It was sort of a very lovely event for the gay and lesbian community, being Pride Week. And the highlight of that, as not just being a gay man and being a part of my community, was, you know, my client's in a wheelchair and some parts were quite bumpy, so he had an electric wheelchair, and some parts you had to push him over physically. Well, people were moving out of the way, helping, and it really showed me a sense of community, not just as a support worker, but as a citizen. As a human being, the love, compassion, and empathy from the community that I saw on Sunday was phenomenal. It was accepting, it was loving, and the smile on my client's face the whole day just made me know that my job, that's a job well done.
And one step further from that was the email that I received from said participant saying how much fun he had, and to thank you so much for taking him and reintroducing him to that. So that was amazing.
That's the highlight of my job, is to be able to see the smiles and the progression of these participants, to be able to help them get to that next step, to be able to really reach out into the community and know that, hey, you know, I can't do this on my own at this point, but if I have by your side supports backing me, I know I've got that backup. I know I've got that leg to fall on, or leg to stand on, if you know what I'm saying. So they've got that constant backup with us. And that's what I love, especially about being a carer, is that I've been able to help and watch so many people grow over the years in this industry. And, you know, some people are like, oh, but the NDIS this and the NDIS that. The NDIS is just the platform to be able to give you those supports, to be able to get society to understand that disability isn't always a restriction. It's something that they're born with, or something could have happened to them, like ABIs, TBIs. I've dealt with the whole lot. It's about progressing forward more and getting that ability to understand that you can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything. And it's true. Like, I personally have experienced that myself. Like, I had my own issues back in the day where I was had my own mental health, and a part of my journey was I wanted to give back to my community, the community that helped me through my struggles. I wanted to give back to those people and let people know out there that were feeling like I felt when I first started my journey was, I'm alone, I can't do this, I can't do this. But I had professionals help me along that way, and in a different sense to support work. But that then progressed my thoughts of, well, if I've had this help, I'm a human that has a heart, has empathy, and has compassion for people that are going through things. Maybe I could give back to my community by helping others do that. And I tell you, I would never look back. Never look back. It has been the most eye-opening, inspirational, amazing experience that I've ever experienced in my entire life. And I mean, I've traveled and all that, and that's all well and good, but my job it gives me purpose. It gives me a reason to wake up in the morning. It gives me a reason to get out of bed every day and know that, you know, I might be feeling the worst that morning. Like, I just woke up and on the wrong side of the bed and I'm just, don't want to do it today. But the minute I see that client, it's a whole different thing, because they give you life, you know, and as much as we're giving them life, they're giving us just as much.
True.
You know, as much as we're supporting them, they're supporting us in giving us a purpose, giving us that heartwarming feeling to know that, hey, I've just made that person's day. I've made that person's week. I've made that person's month or year. Do you know what I mean? And it could be just as simple as saying hello to them. You know, they might be what we call in the industry recluse, which is they don't leave their house or rooms. You know, and just having that slight little interaction. Like, I've previously, many years ago, had a client that was a recluse, and it took time and effort to get that person to actually start accepting other people and start coming out of their room and interacting with the community. It's about showing them they're not alone. And that's the biggest thing with the disability industry is people need to feel like they're wanted, they're accepted, they're understood, and they're not judged.
And they have purpose.
100%.
A question to both of you. Generally, I've found that, because we have a lot of, which is great, we have a lot of community groups coming here, and so many of them, I won't say they're like you, but they're involved in the community, and they're involved with a lot of people who are reclusive, that's a word. But my question to you is, I think they're special people, and that's said in a purely complimentary way, like yourself, as special people, to be able to do these things for humans. And I think it's great. I really, it's the best, because at the end of the day, it's all about people and looking after people. My question is, what got you, Michelle, and then also you, Matt? It's generally like, sometimes you get somebody, I'm trying to explain, sometimes you get somebody from, I use an organisation, Salvation Army, their parents went to Salvation Army, they've always been giving people, and they found that was their path in life, and they love it. Is there anything in your lives that you see, that was it with a family member or something like that, you said, this is why I want to do this, Michelle?
So for me, very similar to Matt, I went through a whole heap of traumatic things in my life, and I just got to a point where I needed changes and things, and I had, I had help as well, different to the whole NDIS thing. It was a different type of help. I have a bit of a spiritual background, so I started learning and teaching and helping people to learn to deal with their traumas through that side of it. But then when COVID hit, you know, and everyone's losing jobs and things, I had to sort of take stock of what I wanted to do. So I went online, did TAFE courses, and started in that side of it, into this industry, started in support work. Only did it for 6 months, and then all of a sudden I found myself running the company. So
oh, wow.
She's amazing. She's amazing at what she does.
But I manage, about 17 or 18 staff and all the participants and everything like that. Yeah, I do that.
That's great.
This woman is a machine, I tell you. I took the role last week to help Michelle out, to give her a bit of a break. And I take my hat off to this woman with the things she deals with every single day. I take my hat off. I really do. She's an absolute amazing boss as well. You know, as a support worker that works for BYSS, since I've started here with BYSS, as soon as I started, I was like, just a heads up, I want to go and do my Cert 4 in mental health. Well, they were so amazing about that they allowed me to go and do that, and then offered me any support that I needed throughout that as well. So I've now just about completed my Cert 4 in mental health, which is something I'm very passionate about, is mental health. Yeah. So my journey, for instance, was that I was a victim of crime. Obviously, if this does offend or trigger anybody, please call Lifeline on 13 11 14, because it can be quite...
It's really hard, just before you, it is hard at this radio station, because it's great to share, and we love sharing, and we like to hear your story, and we do. And I think, unfortunately, it's really hard to put it, Matt, but if the message gets through and helps 99, and it doesn't help that 1%, but you've got to weigh it up. And I think for you to tell your story is more beneficial in the long run. So if you want to continue, I think it's great. Yeah.
So I was involved in a home invasion in 2011 in Perth City, and I went through years of mental health trauma and things like that. So I had points in my life that I didn't want to be here anymore. If you read between the lines there.
Yep.
Obviously don't want to say certain words, but I ended up in the public system for years. I went through all the different public hospitals to try and get the right help. What I found was that wasn't for me. It was more about medication and not the actual therapy I needed. I needed to actually talk to somebody to be able to get it off my mind, so that it wasn't sitting there playing in my head every day. And then obviously I went into private, where I went to a hospital called Abbotsford Private Hospital, and I did a stint there. And I was like, one day I woke up and I was like, you know what am I doing with myself? I'm sitting here dwelling on things that I can't change anymore. I can only progress from. I can only move forward from. And I can take my experience and I can dwell on it, or I can use it to inspire and to help others. So I thought, what can I do? Well, I'm part of APM. I don't know if you've heard of APM.
No, I have not.
So they're an employment agency, very well known, very amazing disability employment agency. And my worker one day called up and goes, Matt, you know what? I think you'd be perfect for aged care and disabilities. Like, I just really think you've got the personality for it. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. What was supposed to take me 6 months, I completed it in 6 weeks in the course. Because, I had nothing else to do in the hospital. You know, I'd done all their therapy sessions, all their group therapy. It was quite repetitive after a while. And I was like, I'm here to try and get better, but I'm not going to be able to progress if I'm doing the same group therapy every day.
Interesting.
So I said to my doctor, I said, I'd like to study. And my doctor was like, okay. So I locked myself in my room and I studied day in, day out for hours on end, and I smashed all my assessments out and then got out. I went and worked for an aged care facility where I got the experience that I needed for 6 months, and then left them and wandered out into the disability community and never looked back since. And to me, it was the nurses and the doctors that stood by my side. If I had, while I was studying, for instance, if I had a question that I just couldn't comprehend quite as well as I should, like I'm also ADHD, so neurodivergent. So to me, some questions were like, you're wording this in a way that I'm like scratching in my head. Whereas I went to the nurse and I said, can you please put this in layman's terms for me? Yeah. Which they did do. And then I sort of ran with that and understood the question then. So it was them that sort of inspired me. But also I have a family background of helping. So my dad was a firefighter volunteer for over 40 years, as well as a firefighter.
Wow.
I have an auntie in Holland that was a carer for many years with people with Down syndrome. She absolutely loved her job. Retired now, but still goes and helps out there where she can. I've had 2 aunties that were registered nurses at Royal Perth. I've had aunties that are carers. My cousin is a registered nurse and a carer in Holland. So my family, most of my family have that caring background. I think that's also another push that gave me that.
It is, isn't it? It's that you tend to get. I mean, I know to talk about generalising. You know, you get a lot of famous footy players and their sons play footy. They're following up. But I'm not saying that that's the case. But it's interesting.
I think it comes down in the bloodline, really, doesn't it? Like if you've got that empathy and compassion for medical, you'll find that if a nurse has a child, for instance, usually they'll either become a nurse or a doctor or a carer or something in the medical field.
Because it's in their space.
Yeah, it's in their face every day growing up, and they're like, well, if my mum can do that, so can I.
Yeah.
And I can make the same difference my mum or dad makes and change the world for the better. And that's what I believe carers do, is we change the world for the better. It's not about the money. Like, it's not about the, I have a job, I can spruce about. No, it's about giving back to your community. It's about helping those that can't help themselves, that need that extra little bit of support to be able to come and be like myself, someone that can progress to further and bigger things. You know what I mean? Like schooling, for instance, like getting to appointments to make sure that your medical issues are all under control and being handled perfectly. You know, it's about getting connected with those counsellors. It's about having that person that you can sit down over a coffee with and be like, my week has been hell. This is how I'm feeling. I'm a mess. And knowing that that person that's sitting on the other end of that coffee table has the information, the qualifications, and the understanding to understand where you're at, to be able to give you that next step of advice. Like, you know, well, can I refer you to this place to get you some assistance in this aspect? Or if you need financial assistance, we can always look at this, or food bank and things like that. That's what a carer's job's about. It's about giving back to the community. It's about making our community, like Australia is a free country. It's a country of absolute beauty and respect. And, you know, it's about connecting all that together to make it one big happy place with no judgments, no fear of existence, none of that. Like, as an Aboriginal gay man that has my own mental health and disability issues, well, I say issues, it's not really an issue, it's a part of life, really, isn't it? Everyone goes through mental health at some point in their life, whether it be depression, anxiety, whatever. It's about connecting those communities and knowing that there's that person in these industries that can actually support everyone from every different community. Like, I stand strongly with the Indigenous community, I stand strongly with the disability community, and I stand extremely strongly with the LGBTIQ community. And these 3 communities I find are what society classes the minority groups, but at the end of the day, we're not trying to segregate. We're trying to connect.
Inclusivity.
And exactly, inclusivity is what we're looking for. And that's why I love BYSS, is because no matter where you're from, what your background is, we have somebody that would suit you perfectly.
100%.
And I think too, and this could be unopened for general chat amongst ourselves, I think, and you know, I'm just a layman. When I say just a layman, and I think, you know, like, I mean, and it's easy to generalise, guys, but I think most Australians are very fair and want. Look, there's always going to be the 10 or 15% who are going to be like that. But I think most Australians want to be inclusive, and there's people who want to make it divisive. And I think you're trying to be inclusive, but by doing what you're doing, no matter who we are, you know, you're making it divisive, where everybody wants it to be inclusive, and the message, it just doesn't get through, and sometimes on both sides, you know. And I think that's like I'm talking to you guys, and I feel it would be easy to be inclusive.
100%, and it's about just accepting and knowing that everybody's different.
Yeah.
Do you know, you can be born with 20 toes, or you can be born with one toe. You know what I mean? It's about acceptance. It's okay. Things happen in life.
Or you could be born with no toes, and then you'd be lactose. Sorry. Sorry, go on.
No, that's what we do. We do that all the time.
100%.
We're always joking and laughing.
And it's
That's
about,
what we do.
you know, looking at the different communities and thinking, you know, as a society, we could all be one. You know, there's no need for any hate, exclusion of any different type of religion, community. We don't care what your background is. We're going to love you anyway.
Yeah.
To me personally, and I'm pretty sure BYSS would agree, is that we all bleed red. At the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all human. We all have skin. We all have red blood. It don't matter if you're from any community, you know, you should still be respected, still be loved, and still be accepted for what you believe in.
I think so. There was a thing, and I'm not a religious person myself, but there was something I think the Dalai Lama said, and I thought, wow, that sort of sums it up. He said, we're all the same.
Yeah.
Then again, we're all different.
Yeah.
But in the end, we're all the same.
Yep.
And
100%.
I think that's what it is, isn't it? You know, like you know, we're on different, what's the word? We have different backgrounds, but, you know, what I'm trying to say, guys, and you can explain, if I had somebody who was my age and talked about football and cricket and all the things, and music, all the things that I like, it's just, it's interesting to talk to you people, and there's no difference to me. To me, we're talking about what things that you're passionate about, and I find very interesting. But, you know, it doesn't have to be, oh, well, they believe in this. I don't really want to talk to them.
No,
why would you do that?
Because some people in their minds think that their way of thinking is the 110% correct way for the whole of society to think, whereas people in the care industry are complete opposites. We're like, no, that's your opinion and your thoughts. Absolutely, you have the entitlements and rights to have those.
Yep.
But there's a line.
Yes,
there's also
agree.
a line.
Yep.
You can keep those opinions to yourself and still accept the community for what it is.
Yep.
And just be a part of everything anyway. There's no need for any judgment, any type of phobia, any type of fear of being accepted in the community, because if you come to BYSS, that's exactly what you're going to get.
I think it's great.
Included, accepted, loved, and cared for. And that's the biggest thing that BYSS stand for, is the inclusivity, the support for their clients, and their massive support for their staff. Like, I couldn't think of a better boss to have. My boss is extremely supportive.
Does Michelle know her?
Or them.
Them.
True.
Well,
you know, like,
from my perspective as a boss, like when I'm actually actively looking for support workers to join, join our crew, my biggest thing is their life experience. You know, what have you been through? Like, how can you give back to these people? And generally it's because they've been through something.
Yes.
And they've gotten out the other side of it. And I find that extremely valuable in somebody, because people gravitate towards that.
yeah.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more. I mean, you mentioned it before. You know, we can get somebody who's come out of the courses that you guys would have done and absolutely just, what's the word? Absolutely killed it. At the top of the class, top of this, no worries. But
No life.
unfortunately, they don't have.
For them, it's called textbook.
Yeah, but they don't have that connection.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's what people. I don't know, but
and
I
that's
think
what people bounce off. Is
that's
that
of course they do.
Of that relation of, well, hang on,
It
this
builds
person
rapport.
actually, yeah,
It builds
and
rapport.
Yeah,
they actually understand what I'm going through, not just because they've learnt it in a book, but because they've lived it.
Yes.
yeah, that's it.
And that's the biggest thing with life is
Yeah.
you could go to university for many, many, many years, but if you've been brought up in a stable home with a stable education, with stable opportunities, with no divorces in your family, things like that, you've lived what I'd call the supreme life.
Yeah, yeah.
That's well and good. You can go and do as many studies as you like, but people aren't going to be able to relate to you. Because the people in community services are people that have been left behind, that have been through the trauma, that have been through the not golden lifestyle, you know what I mean? They didn't get that opportunities that you may have got as a university student that's gone on for degrees and degrees. You know, and that's the thing with like myself, for instance, is I educate myself as far as I can with my own abilities, but it's my life experience that gets me through a lot of those courses because I use my own knowledge to put the answers to these questions that sometimes, like in my course, for instance, they're like, how do you understand this so much? I'm like, because I've lived it.
Yes.
You're talking to someone that has lived experience here.
Yep.
And that is the biggest thing in care. If you have lived experience, you are exactly what they need in this industry because you have more of an understanding, more empathy, and more compassion than someone that's just gone to university and done 50 million degrees.
Yep.
Sometimes I find, though, that those courses, this is probably going to be a bit controversial, sometimes I think some of the courses you read them and you go, that's actually not going to work in this industry.
Yes, yeah.
That doesn't work here.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? Like if you see if you go to buy something, you can tell a trained salesperson, but you might get a salesperson who's not as well trained.
Yeah.
But you just
They can relate
communicate
to
with
you.
them, and the trainers go, "Oh, do you really like this? Tell me why you like it." And it's all, by the book. And I think, yeah, but they're just out of a textbook, mate. I'd rather have somebody saying, like have the conversation, blah, blah, blah. And I dare say, like, I can imagine if it sounds really weird, but if I did have some of the issues that your clients have, I would want to get in contact with you because I find that there's a connection with you, Michelle, and also Matt, that I could sit down and say, hey, look, Matt or Michelle, this has happened, but I feel I'll connect with you, so that's good. But you could get somebody else, and you
might
just
not
wouldn't
have
connect.
that connection. And that's the best thing about BYSS is for the staff and the clientele, you must do a meet and greet first with your client and your staff member. If you don't gel, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
They'll find another staff member
Yeah.
for you that you
Gotcha.
gel with because it's
a-
about that connection.
Yeah, so for me, when I get a new participant through the door and they tell me exactly what they need, what they're looking for in a support worker, generally straight in my head, one of my workers has popped up. I'm like, I know exactly who's going to be a fit for you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the choice and control of the participants.
Yeah.
If you bring them in for a meet and greet and they are perfect for each other, great, because I'm like, yay, I knew that was going to work. But then they could also turn around and go, no, and you're like, okay, cool,
That's
no
it.
problem, we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll find somebody else. But generally, I'm sitting there talking to them and I can see this person's face up here and I'm like, I know, I'm getting there.
Guys, do you find that nowadays there's more prevalence in people with mental health issues?
Absolutely.
And I'm asking because I only read, I try. Is it becoming more prevalent in younger people as well or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big time. It depends also, again, on the community that they're part of as well. So
Oh,
you've got
of
the
course.
Indigenous community, you've got the LGBTI community, you've got the Muslim community. These are all little individual communities that surround with one big community. But each of those little communities have their own issues in amongst themselves as well, with things like mental health and physical abilities and things like that. Now, one thing I personally have noticed is that mental health since COVID has become quite a big
Yes.
thing. It's
What has,
become
sorry?
huge. Mental health?
Yeah,
Since
yeah.
Especially
COVID.
since COVID.
Since COVID.
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
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 And the thing is, there's not enough services out there for people.
Or they're not coping. The services that are there are not coping.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you want to see a psychologist in the public system, you've got a 2-year wait list. You go private, and you're paying thousands and thousands and thousands of
Yeah,
dollars for the
that's the
same
thing.
thing
Yeah.
that you can be getting in public under the bulk billing that's you're going to have to wait 2 years for. And in that 2 years, a lot of things could happen.
Yeah.
They could take themselves.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
And
But there's also a lot of bulk billing not happening anymore.
100%. And that's the thing that needs to change as well, is that the government, for instance, needs to understand that people with disabilities and mental health, they can't necessarily afford it. Some of them don't work. Some of them are on pensions. And you want to charge them hundreds of dollars to see their GP? Are you for real?
Yeah.
Like, where do you get off?
Yeah.
Like, these are essential services to people that I specifically work with in my industry. And I tell you, this is something I get really passionate about, is the fact that you can sit there and take your wages every week and sit there as our politicians in our country and watch these people suffer because yous would rather put your money here in a race course in Melbourne or Burswood than be funding our doctor systems, be funding our hospital systems. You know, if we...
Homelessness as well.
Homelessness is another big one. It's huge. It is so
They
rampant.
kind of go hand in hand, disabilities and homelessness.
100%. And another thing is the AOD sector.
Yeah.
The amount of AOD issues we are seeing since COVID has risen dramatically because people had nothing to do.
Yeah.
So what were they doing?
Or
They were
they've-
turning to alcohol and drugs, or they've gone through more traumas.
Lost jobs.
Another
Yeah.
thing is domestic violence. People don't talk about this enough. People in the disability community still suffer domestic violence too.
Yep.
People in the LGBTIQ community still suffer domestic violence as well.
Yeah.
And it's something we need to be looking at more. We need more funding for these services. We need more supports. You know, we need less red tape and more funding and more support. And that's
Even-
where we're struggling.
Even with us, with what we do in the NDIS community, there is still a hell of a lot of red tape.
Oh, there's so much red tape you wouldn't even
Yeah.
believe it.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's like it's like the tip of an iceberg, a tip of a that you know, even in the aged care sector, which somebody comes in the EIS, I do know that to try and get on to the aged care package or whatever is. It's that many hoops you've got to go through, and you can
Same
be.
with NDIS.
Oh, they think, oh well, actually, you got out off your chair. Yeah, you're okay. No worries.
Yes.
Whoa.
But half the time with our industry, the people that make the plans and decide if you're going to get one don't even speak to the people.
Look, it's no wonder you're fired up, Matt.
But we do the best we can with what we have.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've got just a question here, which is a little bit off track, perhaps, right? But so, if I can use this as a point, and maybe so you get the
LGBTIQ
community, which is a minority group and quite often gets attacked.
Oh, yes.
Right? And you get the Indigenous community, which also is a minority and gets attacked. My question is, do these two communities, because they both get attacked and minorities, do they get together a little bit easier because both of them are being attacked? Does that make sense, that question?
So the Indigenous community that's a very broad question.
Yeah.
What I have noticed is that Pride now has started to include the First Nations people in our parades
Yep,
and things
okay.
like that. So I think
Yeah.
the minorities are starting to wake up and realise that, hang on, if we work together here,
Yeah.
we won't be the minority anymore.
Yeah.
We'll be equals with
Yeah.
the majority that don't like us.
Yeah.
And then the people that don't like us don't really get that opportunity to say that anymore because we're all equal.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of getting towards.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just both huge
It's
subjects.
very hard as well with the Indigenous community and the LGBTIQ community is because they're very different cultures as well. So the LGBTIQ community have very different ways of life than the Aboriginal community.
Yeah,
Do you
so-
know what I mean?
yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
why we have things like Pride and NAIDOC Week and things like that to
Yeah.
let these communities thrive and shine for their little time that they
Yeah.
get, you know?
Yeah.
And you got people that are like, oh, but why can't we have a straight parade? Well, you do. Every day of the week. You get it every day. You don't get no homophobia, no transphobia, no none of that. We cop it. And if you look back in history, the LGBTIQ community used to cop it even from government sectors, police force, the government itself. It took so many years for the yes vote to come through, which, by the way, the gay and lesbian community didn't ask for you to vote for that. It shouldn't have been your choice. It should not have been a choice for the country to make. It should have been individuals having the right to say, well, I love this person. I'm going to make this person my person for the rest of my life.
Yep.
What gave the world and society the right to choose that? That would be like me saying to you, you can't be a radio presenter because I just don't think it's morally correct or something like that, you know, and that's your own personal belief, and that's well and good. You can keep that to yourself, but let people thrive in their communities. Stop judging. Stop hating on people because you're not them. That's how I look at it, is you hate me because you're not me, honey. You know, like...
Live and let live.
Literally, it's
I think so.
Why can't we all be peaceful? Why can't we all just get along?
Just mind our own business and do our thing.
100%.
Just that.
Yeah, well, I think there's, I don't know, I think there's that there's safety in...
Numbers.
Yeah.
100% there is safety in numbers.
And so if you're with a whole lot of blokes who are straight and this, that, the other, then if there was a gay bloke there, he's probably a bit reticent about coming out because all the numbers are against him.
Yes. A lot of the time, yes. But growing up myself personally, I've been very, very lucky with the LGBTIQ community that a lot of my friends are from the straight community and very, very, very accepting and very understanding and very loving. We have our lines and we just don't cross those, and we're very clear on those. But like, you know, they don't. It's progressing. It is progressing for the LGBT community. Now we're looking at the trans community and the progression that we need to make with the trans community. Because at the moment there's a lot of hate and a lot of phobia around trans people. And to me, as someone that's been there, dealt with that as a gay man, I feel for my trans community and my trans brothers and sisters because they are human.
Yeah.
And if you actually sat down with a trans person and actually spoke to them and listened, don't just have your own opinions in your head, listen openly to these people and they will tell you exactly why they feel the way they are feeling, why they're going through what they're going through to become who they're supposed to be. It's about listening, understanding that your opinion don't necessarily matter all the time. You can have it, but you don't need to push it on other people. Like as a gay man, I'm not going to push on the gay agenda with you, am I? You know what I mean? Like you're obviously a straight man. I'm happy to sit here and chat with you. Why can't people have that open conversation with someone in the trans community, for instance, and understand that, hang on, because if you look at the process of the trans community and transitioning, okay, something that I've personally done a bit of research into because I have a lot of trans friends, they go through years of scrutiny with psychologists, psychiatrists, the whole kit and caboodle. Then that's just the start.
But prior to that, it was them not feeling correct in their own body.
Yeah.
It's being born in a body that you don't feel comfortable in.
So they had to fight all of that for a long time before they even get to that point.
And my reply to that would be, if the straight community want to judge them so much on that, then why do we have women going and getting Botox and fillers and nose jobs and plastic surgery? If you want to judge people that are doing it for the wrong reasons. Don't be judging people that are doing it because they don't feel comfortable in their own body. And to me, like in this job, I have the most amazing client that is trans that I would bend over backwards for. And if I heard you disrespect that person, I would tell you what for, because as not only a human, a part of that community, just as a human being, I don't think it's right that we discriminate against anybody for any culture, faith, religion, whatever it may be. You can't discriminate against people. We're all human beings at the end of the day. And that's why I love BYSS, is because they are so accepting of everyone from every community. We don't care what we care, but we don't care what your background is. We're not here to judge you. We're here to support you, to show you that love, to thrive in the community you belong in. And like I say, you know, my client now is interacting with the LGBTIQ community, and it's been the most amazing experience as a support worker, as a gay man, to know that this person for years hadn't been connected with the community that they need to be connected with, because each minority group, you need that connection with that group, because it gives you an understanding of where you're from, what your history is, and what your people have gone through to get to where they are today, to give you the same freedoms you have today. Freedoms of marching in pride parades and Mardi Gras, we owe to the 78ers. Have you ever heard of the 78ers before?
No.
So the 78ers were the first people to fight for gay and lesbian rights in the world, basically. And it was around the time of AIDS epidemics and things like that, where the community was really, really, really shunned. Really shunned. Like, if you do your research on, like, documentaries and things like that, you would see that the community, where they used to go out clubbing and things like that and think they had a safe space, they would get raided by police, bashed, and put in prison vans. Some were prosecuted for being gay or lesbian. You know, in the AIDS epidemic, people blamed the gay community, and it's like, well, no, it's also part of the heterosexual community too, people, just a heads up. But, you know, this is why I love doing what I do, is because I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to give you the best possible life outcome that you can possibly reach. And that's why support work is so, so important. And, you know, our clients need to feel that. They need to have that understanding that we understand. You know, we do our research on the history of these different minorities. Like, I've done a lot of research on the trans community because I'm not trans myself, but I want to understand.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a few years to understand completely, but now I'm at a point where I fully get it. I get it. You know, and I can use that to educate others and to be able to support people in that lifestyle that are being distracted away from the community for so long, to reconnect with that community and know that you do have this group that do support everything you do. You know, you're not being judged in this community. This community actually loves you and accepts you for who you are, because we are that community. You know, the Indigenous community, cultural things like Welcome to Country was a big hoo-ha lately. And it's like, do you even understand what Welcome to Country actually is? Does anyone actually understand what Welcome to Country represents and what it stands for? It ain't welcoming you to your own country. No. It's people like me that are a fifth generation Yamatji man. I'm from Carnarvon mob. So the Aboriginal communities have hundreds of different tribes. And what Welcome to Country is me as a Yamatji man standing on Noongar Budja, being welcomed by the Noongar community to their land. It's been going for centuries and centuries. And yet everyone wants to sit there and go, I don't want to be welcomed to my own land. We're not welcoming you. You're already here. You don't need to be welcomed. We're welcoming people from other countries and other tribes that actually understand what we're trying to do. It's a cultural thing to say, you're welcome to our land. You know, please respect it, love it, and we will share it with you. It's not about being racist or dividing the country or anything like that. It's about acceptance of the fact that this culture has been around for so many years and sadly has had so much destruction to it. You know, and I think that if we can get all these groups together, the straight community, the gay community, the Muslim community, the Aboriginal community, every single community in Australia stood together and said, you know what? Let's put an end to all this discrimination, all this hatred. Let's just share love, compassion, and empathy. Because in the caring world, that's what we do. You put your own personal beliefs, no matter what they are, behind you. You get in there, you show love, you show compassion, and you show empathy, and then you watch your client thrive. Because, you know, I could go in there and be like, oh, I don't like this particular person for this particular reason. That's wrong. In my eyes, that's something I would never ever do anyway. But, you know, to me, it's like that, and that's how society looks like at the moment. They're very judgmental. They're very, oh, but it's going to be this way or the highway. No, there is an in-between people where everyone can just accept everyone and look after each other. You know, your grandma sitting at home, go and check on her. You know, one thing I learned in the aged care and disability sector is, especially in aged care, we put our elders in these homes and then we walk away and get on with our lives. And they sit there day in, day out with no one. I witnessed it myself for 6 months. Every day I would go into there and the smiles on people's faces when I'd walk in and actually give them the acknowledgement that they deserved. Like, hi, how are you? Made their whole day. Because no one from their family comes and visits.
That's right.
They got dementia, they don't know who I am. They do know who you are. They do remember. They may not remember right there and then, but they know who you are. You may not think it. It's like someone in a coma. They say you could hear everything in a coma. It's the same with dementia and Alzheimer's. Is they still remember. They may not be able to show you that they remember you right there and then, but they do remember. And that's why society needs to come forward and really support our elders and really support our disabled community, because it's the way of the future, people, is that everyone is going to be accepting of everyone and everyone needs to pull their finger out and help everyone. So we're not all just individuals. We are a community.
True. So we'll wrap it up with this, guys. We have Pride Week coming up, which I didn't know about.
Yes.
So tell us what's happening with Pride Week, Matt and Michelle.
So Pride Week is actually started last Friday. It was the opening night on Friday last Friday.
Okay.
So it happens around November for about a week.
Yep.
And this Saturday is actually the Pride Parade. So it's in Northbridge from about 7 p.m. And it's just a chance to really express who you are as a member of the community. You know, it's about colour, glitter, love. The fact that love is love and there's no judgment behind it. It's about representing that community that has fought so hard to get to where we are today. It's about acknowledging that, hey, we're still here.
Connection.
Yeah, connection. It's about understanding the history and representing the 78ers that started this whole movement to get to the gay and lesbian vote of yes. It's about the community coming together to celebrate that fact that, hey, love is love and love knows no bounds. And it doesn't.
Okay, hey, here's one for you guys. I assume you guys are going to be in the Pride Parade, I assume.
I personally will be, yes.
Okay, so come on, Matt, I'll finish on a light note. What are you going to be wearing? Can we ask this? Are you going to be wearing something?
I am wearing a pride flag. I will be representing the company in some ways, obviously because my client is a part of a political party. So I will be marching with that political party,
right.
But I will be marching as just a normal human being, not really representing the company because we don't affiliate with any political parties.
Yeah, I can understand that, yeah.
But I march nearly every year. I absolutely love it. I'm very proud of my community and very proud of how far we've come.
Yep.
And the fact that I now get to take a client along to celebrate that community with that client is just the most amazing experience.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, Michelle and Matt, for coming in. It's been most enlightening. And I tell you what, Matt, if you'd ever had that passion in something like a salesperson, I reckon you would have been a multi-millionaire by now. No, and that's a compliment because you're so passionate and you come across as so genuine and have that sort of drive. And I think it's brilliant.
Understanding, and I think that people need to get on that page of understand that not everyone's equal. Like there are different aspects in life that weigh out, do you know what I mean? But everyone in the same line is equal. They just have abilities with a difference.
Okay. Thanks again, Matt and Michelle.
Thank you.
And we'll be back after this song.